Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum. My name is Hiba Remotejobwali. Today I talked with Chatgpt. Hi Chatgpt, how are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm doing really well, thank you. It's awesome to chat with you. How's your day going so far?
I am good. Okay, my first question is how do you usually approach technical problems?
That's a great question. Usually, I like to break the problem down into smaller steps, try to understand the root cause, look for any resources or documentation, and then test out solutions step by step. It's kind of like a puzzle. How about you?
Okay, good. My next question, what is the first step you take when facing a problem?
The first step I usually take is to clearly define the problem and understand exactly what's going wrong. That way, I can narrow down the possible causes and find a solution more effectively. It definitely helps to have a clear starting point.
Okay, good. How do you stay calm while solving a technical issue?
Staying calm is definitely key. I usually take a deep breath, remind myself that every problem has a solution, and sometimes take a short break if I need to clear my head. It also helps to talk things out with someone else or just take it step by step.
Okay, how do you collect information about a problem?
I usually start by gathering any relevant documentation or error messages, and then I might search online for similar issues or ask colleagues for their input. Sometimes just going through logs or testing different scenarios helps me collect the right information. It's all about being thorough and curious.
What tools do you normally use for troubleshooting?
I use a variety of tools depending on the problem. Uh, for software issues, things like debuggers, log analyzers, and version control systems are super helpful. For network issues, I might use tools like Ping, Traceroute, or Wireshark. And for general troubleshooting, a good old-fashioned search engine and documentation are always great.
Okay, ne- can you give an example of a small technical issue you solve?
Absolutely. One small example that comes to mind is when a website's layout looked off after a new update. I just inspected the elements using the browser's developer tools, found a missing CSS file, and fixed the link. It was a quick and simple fix, but it definitely made a difference.
Okay, do you prefer to solve a problems alone or in a team? Why?
I actually enjoy a bit of both. Solving problems alone can be great for focus and deep work, but collaborating with a team brings in different perspectives and can lead to more creative solutions. So I definitely appreciate both approaches.
Okay, good. How do you know if you solve the problem correctly?
I usually know by testing the solution thoroughly to make sure everything behaves as expected and that the issue is gone. I also like to get feedback from others or monitor the system to ensure everything is stable. It's all about confirming that the problem is resolved and no new issues crop up.
Okay, what do you do if you cannot find the solution?
If I get stuck, I usually take a step back and maybe approach the problem from a different angle. Sometimes talking it out with a colleague or looking for a fresh perspective helps. I also might revisit the basics or check out new resources and documentation. And if all else fails, I just give it a little time and come back to it with fresh eyes.
Okay, how do you know if you solved the problem correctly?
I usually know I've solved the problem when everything starts working as intended and there's no more unexpected behavior. I also like to run some tests and get feedback from others just to confirm everything's good to go. It's always nice to have that peace of mind.
Okay, what do you do if you cannot find the solution?
If I can't find a solution right away, I like take a little break to clear my head and then come back with a fresh perspective. Sometimes I'll also reach out to a colleague or even look for solutions in online communities. It's all about persistence and staying curious until you find the answer.
Okay, how do you document the step of your solution?
I like to document my solutions in a clear and concise way, usually in a shared document or a wiki. I break down the steps, explain why each step is necessary, and include any relevant screenshots or code snippets. That way, anyone who looks at it later can understand the process and replicate it if needed.
Okay, how do you test whether the solution works?
I usually test the solution by running a series of tests that cover different scenarios to make sure everything works as expected. I might use automated tests if it's a bigger project, and sometimes just manual testing to confirm that the issue is resolved. And of course, I also keep an eye on it afterward just to make sure everything stays stable.
Okay, how do you make sure that some problem does not come back?
To make sure a problem doesn't come back, I usually add some monitoring or logging so I can catch any issues early. I also like to write automated tests to ensure that the fix is always verified and won't regress. And of course, keeping an eye on feedback and staying proactive uh, helps a lot too.
Okay, how do you keep your focus when a problem is complex?
When a problem gets complex, I like to break it down into smaller, more manageable pieces and tackle them one at a time. Also, try to minimize distractions and maybe set a timer for focused work sessions and take short breaks to clear my mind. It really helps
Okay,
keep
how
me refreshed.
okay, how do you ask for help if you are stuck?
I usually try to be as specific as possible about what I'm stuck on and what I've already tried. I make sure to provide any relevant context or error messages and then reach out to colleagues or communities for help. Uh, Being clear and concise definitely makes it easier for others to help out.
Okay, how do you deal with problems under time pressure?
When I'm under time pressure, I try to prioritize the most critical parts of the problem first and focus on quick, effective solutions. I also try to stay calm and keep a clear head, sometimes breaking the problem into smaller tasks to make it feel more manageable. And of course, I lean on any resources or teammates that can help speed things up.
Okay, how do you identify the root cause of a technical issue?
To find the root cause, I usually start by gathering all the relevant data, like logs and error messages, and then trace back the sequence of events that led to the issue. I also like to ask questions and test different hypotheses until I narrow it down. It's kind of
Okay,
like being a detective, really.
okay,
Absolutely.
can you describe a difficult technical problem you solve?
Sure. One challenging problem I tackled was a performance issue in a large scale application. It turned out that a particular database query was causing a bottleneck. I had to analyze the query, optimize the indexes, and restructure it to improve efficiency. It took a bit of trial and error, but in the end, it made a huge difference in the application speed.
Okay, how do you prioritize problems when many issues happen at once?
When a bunch of issues pop up at once, I like to prioritize based on impact and urgency. So I focus on problems that affect the most users or could cause the most damage first. I also consider how quickly each issue can be resolved and any dependencies. That way I can tackle the most critical issues first and keep everything running smoothly.
Thank you. Okay, what methods do you use analyze technical issue?
I usually rely on a mix of tools and methods depending on the issue. For example, I use logging and monitoring tools to see what's happening in real time. Debuggers help me step through code, and performance profilers can pinpoint bottlenecks. I also like to analyze data, check for patterns, and sometimes even just brainstorm with others to get a fresh perspective.
Okay, how do you ensure that your solution is cost effective?
I try to consider the resources and time required for the solution, and weigh that against the benefits it brings. I also look for ways to optimize the solution so that it doesn't uh, use unnecessary resources. And of course, I always keep an eye on long-term maintenance costs to make sure the solution is sustainable and doesn't add any hidden expenses.
Okay, how do you learn new techniques to solve technical issue?
I love learning new techniques by keeping up with industry blogs, attending webinars, and participating in online communities like forums and GitHub. I also enjoy taking online courses or just experimenting on my own projects. Keeps things fresh and exciting.
Okay, how do you balance speed and accuracy when solving a problem?
I think it's all about finding that sweet spot. I prioritize security first, especially for anything sensitive, but I also aim to implement solutions as efficiently as possible. Sometimes that means making sure that we have the right safeguards in place from the beginning, and other times it means doing a quick check to ensure everything's secure after the fact. It's definitely a balance, but keeps things interesting.
How do you handle unexpected errors during problem solving?
I try to stay flexible and keep a positive mindset when unexpected errors pop up. I usually go back and reassess the situation, try to understand the new error, and then adjust my approach accordingly. It's a bit of a learning process, and it keeps things dynamic and interesting.
Okay, how do you keep track of problems and their solution?
I like to keep a well organized documentation system,
Yeah.
like a knowledge base or no worries at all.
Okay,
Take your time.
okay, good. My next question: how do you collaborate with a team while solving a technical issue?
I find collaboration really valuable, so I make sure to keep communication open and clear. I like to use tools like Slack or project management platforms to share updates and ideas. I also really enjoy brainstorming sessions and giving everyone a chance to contribute their perspectives.
Okay,
Always leads to better solutions.
okay. Thank you so much for your valuable time.